welcome back to another week of the Cranked Up Live podcast right here on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere that's cool enough to listen to us. I having a big week. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I have to introduce Mr. Brad Hennington, all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Curtis. My gym notified me that they're open again, and nice. I like 87% of their members didn't realize they were closed.
Because you never go to the gym anymore, right? Yeah, I get it. I got it. So, now everything's closing down again. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about this show, but everything, our governor here in New Mexico has closed everything down again, the restaurants, and, she's talking about schools, and she canned all of the high school sports and all of that stuff. Like, there's no more sports going on. And I guess that's kind of a constant theme across the country now. Everybody's doing that because of the Rona.
Yeah, because it's so deadly. Because I guess the number is like 80% of the people that have died have been over the age of 75 and had what they call comorbidities, which means you've got something else wrong with you. And if you're under the age of 40, you have almost 0% chance of dying from it. In fact, you probably have a greater chance of dying in a car accident.
Brad,
and so we're going to shut the world down, Curtis. That's what you have to do.
If one person dies from coronavirus, that's one too many. I mean, that's just one too many. We need to wreck the economy and close all the businesses and everybody go bankrupt, because we can't have that one person die.
That's what I'm told, is that if even one person dies, we could have avoided it. And I'm like, look, people, you get on the freeways on a daily basis, and 100 people in the United States die every day for the convenience of being able to get places faster.
Oh, and then you've got to throw in the alcohol sales, and you've got to throw in what about the people that drive drunk and die, or they just get soused and vomit on themselves and die. I mean, there's a lot of death in that, but that's okay.
And so what we need to do is separate ourselves completely from one another, as if we were put into cells like a holding block.
Yeah.
Except at the same time, we're letting those people out of their cells.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now they're doing this mandated mask where you've got to wear the mask all the time, which I think is nonsense. We talked about this last week, and I put my mask on this week, Brad. I went to the grocery store, and when I walked in, the girl was handing out masks, and I had one with me because I'm going to respect that. It's not the grocery store's fault, and they're getting fined like $5,000 if they let people go in there with no mask. Plus, you get a $100 fine if they want to fine you for not wearing one. So I'm going to respect that. I'm going to wear that mask when I go into places. Not that I think that it's doing a damn thing for anything, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just out of respect for the store, because it's not their fault.
Well, and my position on this. I actually don't mind the mask, because I think a lot of you people out there are really nasty, and I'd like to not breathe the same air as you. If we could keep you in a bubble, keep you away from me, that'd be great.
But you're making my head hurt.
But that's the way you got to deal with it right now, unless you're gonna, hurt the business that you go into, because we've got these people that in China, they called them red shirts, brown shirts for the Nazis. People notifying the governor, notifying state police that people aren't wearing their mask in their place of business, and trying to get them shut down. You're a piece of crap, people.
That's something we're going to talk about right now. But before that, when is this going to end? Because a lot of people are saying this, and I hate this, the new normal. That's what they're saying. It's the new normal. Like I think that's nonsense. But like Lujan Grisham, I call her the Lujan virus. She's talking about, this is going to be a forever thing. You're going to wear those masks all the time from now on. And that's just a load of crap. I'm not doing it. Dude, it's 114 degrees here the past few days. You're going to wear that mask outside? I mean, they're even talking about, like, if you're in your own yard.
In your own car.
Yeah, in your own car by yourself. Let's wear the damn mask, because you don't want to get yourself sick.
You don't want to get yourself sick. You wouldn't want to breathe on yourself.
Like that. I mean, I can't understand. I can't understand but let's get to these people that want to be snitches, because you know what they say about snitches, and if you don't like what's going on, stay your ass at home. I'm sitting here and I'm watching this lady. There's a restaurant in my hometown when all of this came up, and you got to keep in mind now, these businesses are hurting, Brad. They're going bankrupt because no, they can't do any business. So now they're open, everything's going like halfway, and now she's shutting them down again. And they said on a post on Facebook, they were like, "Hey, we're still open." And this lady, I can't even remember her name now, but she writes a letter, like a little note to the governor on Facebook, and is like, "You need to come down and find them." Dude.
And she took photos of people in the Ross store in Las Cruces and posted them all over Facebook. She's like, look, this worker has a mask on, but she's not covering her nose properly. And then these people over here don't have their masks on. And oh my God, you should shut them down. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's called, what's it called? Doxing? I think that's what they call it. Doxing, right?
Well, doxing is when you give out the information of how to locate the people.
Oh, well, but that's what she's doing in a sense, because she's given, the store and where it's at, and you need to go down there and find them and stuff. But the real doxing is then in turn doing what we did to this lady and putting her information out online for everybody to know that she was a snitch. And we don't normally do that, folks. That's
Note to authorities, it's public record, so kiss my butt.
That's a liberal thing. They do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But this lady just made me so mad. I'm like, we've got to tell people where she lives. And we didn't put her address out, but I did put a picture of her house.
Could break through her gate and protest. That'd be peaceful, right? Of course, she doesn't have a gate.
She's not living in a gated community. Dude, she's in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and that's a really liberal city, and that's Las Cruces is part of the problem with the Wuhan virus up in Santa Fe, the governor, because they're the ones that Las Cruces and Albuquerque and Santa Fe are who elects these idiots anyway, right?
Yeah, because they're the population centers, and that's just it's because those people they suck off the teat of government, and that's why they love more government, and they love it.
Okay, all right, Brad. So tell me what's on the show this week.
Wow, we finally got there. On the show this week, first world problems, privacy in the home, trailer park trash of the week is coming up. We Ain't BullPoopin You's back, and we've got a Wilder Kingdom for you.
Oh man, Wilder Kingdom. That was a big hit on the radio for us, Wilder Kingdom, and I think they're hilarious. So you're going to hear one of those today. We're kind of getting more in the format of everything. We're trying this out for real now. And Brad, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a real fun time.
And Facebook is listening to everything we say right now. And they're offering me a trip to Africa on my page right now to visit the Wilder Kingdom, so that I can go hunting on a safari.
Dude, I got to be honest. This really just blows my mind. You can be talking about stuff like you just said, and it'll pop an ad up because your phone's always listening to you, or Alexa or Google Home or all this stuff's listening to you all the time to know how to advertise to you. I swear to God, the other day, I was just thinking about this. I don't even remember what now, but it was kind of obscure, and I was thinking about it, and I started to type it in Google, and I put like the first two letters, and it was like, oh, you want to search for bronze elephants from Europe? It was exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And thinking about it, how does that work?
Type and you're like, BL blue rhino horn dust. Why? Yes. I heard that helps the stiffening. But Raymond Kurzweil, the guy that, if you've ever heard of Kurzweil keyboards, he is actually a modern day super genius mathematician. He said about 4 years ago that 4 years from now, Google and AI would be able to predict your question. Not predict the answer, predict the question. And so I've had the same type of thing happen recently. I hadn't even said it out loud. And on Facebook, there's the ad. There's the ad on Google. And you're going, did I say it? Did I know I didn't search for it? But Facebook is claiming that nope, they don't do it. They don't. But there's no way to prove it. You're not going to be able to get into their systems and prove it. And I really think that they are listening. And I mean, we've all felt that way now. And so I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
But not even listening, Brad. I mean, like, seriously, if you're thinking about going to the lake, if you're thinking about going on the lake for a boat trip or something, you're going to go fishing. And all of a sudden you start seeing fishing lures and fishing poles.
Right.
And
you
reels.
didn't even mention it. You didn't say it out loud. You were just like in your head. You're like, going fishing would be good. You know, going to the lake would be great. And it's selling you coolers, trips to a cabin on the lake, fishing boat. It's amazing.
It really is. And, you know, they put that pixel thing. I don't know if you guys know about that.
Google
but there's like
Pixel?
those
pixels.
Yeah, there's like a little pixel in all these advertisements that you look at. And when you look at an ad, that logs into your computer. And so you'll notice, like, when you search for something and then for the next 5 days, all you see is that, you know, Adam and Eve thing that you went to check out. You know, it's like on every ad you look at after that, because that little thing is logged into your machine or on your phone. So keep that in mind, right?
But I mean, I do have to admit, I guess it's not really just picking up what you're thinking. Otherwise, it would be constantly trying to sell me hot naked booty.
No doubt. That's all the guy's computer screens would be all the time, is like porn.
Constant.
Yeah, and their wives would walk by and be like, "Are you looking at porn again?" He's like, "Honest, honey,
they're just advertisements.
It just popped up. I don't know what it is." Yeah, and
an occasional gun ad, a boat.
and unfortunately, you use that "it just popped up on the screen" excuse years ago, so she knows that's a bunch of crap. That's really not the case.
Where did that come from?
I don't know why it's on the screen. Yeah. So okay, Brad. So we need to go. Let's do some trailer park trash of the week. How about that?
Oh my God, trailer park trash the week. Yeah, we told you about Lady Antebellum, and they have the word antebellum, and antebellum just means pre-war, and that was the period before the Confederate, before the Civil War, and it was used by the Confederacy. So they have now changed their name to Lady A, to be politically correct. But there is a blues and jazz singer, Lady A, and she's a black lady, and that's her name. That's what she goes by. That's her singing name. Well, Lady A, Lady Antebellum, is now suing her for the rights to the use of the name and taking it from this black woman. I mean, if there's anything more woke than that, I don't know what there is, Curtis. That's so woke, it's amazing.
So Anita White is this lady's name, and she went by Anita Lady A. White, and she was a blues singer and has been for like 20 years or something. I mean, like a long time. Made her living at it. And so when Lady Antebellum decided that they were going to be all woke and change their name to Lady A, like Brad said, they immediately filed suit on Anita for trademark infringement. Now, so what's happened is, what we found out, we did a little research, and what we found out was when they trademarked Lady Antebellum, they also trademarked Lady A years ago when they started the band, I guess. And they didn't really care much about poor Mrs. White until now that they want to be all woke. And so now she's not going to be able to perform as Lady A anymore, and that's how she makes her income. And she's what, like 60-something, I think. She's an older lady. And
what a shame.
And she's black. So I've got to sit here and ask myself, you know, looking at Lady Antebellum, what kind of culture crap are you doing now? You know, you want to act all woke, and you want to act like you're doing it for the, you know, for the black race, and you want to do all this, and yada yada yada, and then the first thing you do
is sue a black lady.
Sue an elderly black lady because she's been using the name for 20 years. It's beyond. I mean, this has gotten so out of hand with this cancel culture and this wokeness and all of this stuff. It's just pathetic.
And think of that. Think of this whole cancel culture. I mean, think of the issues in the world today. Like you have people that can't get clean drinking water in parts of the world. And we're worried about that the CEO of Goya was like, I like Trump. And they're like, oh, we're not buying your food anymore, you bastard. And it's just amazing, the first world problems. But the first world problem thing I wanted to bring up, I saw a friend of ours on Nextdoor. That's kind of like the local group of people on Facebook, like a Facebook, but it's your local community. Have you been on that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so basically what it is, it's all these people like the one we talked about earlier that are ratting people out constantly.
Oh,
that's what this group is, right? So this lady just asked on Nextdoor, and she's like, what time are the trash pickup supposed to happen? Because, you know, they keep coming at, you know, between 5:45 and 6 a.m. on a Saturday and waking us up. People went berserk on this lady. They're like, oh my God, your first world problems. You're lucky that you have trash pickup and blah, blah, blah. And they were freaking out over it. And I'm like, no, like if I have a business, I can't wake you up with one of my commercial trucks at 5:45, 6 a.m. on a Saturday. There's rules, right?
Who the hell knows anymore, Brad? Really?
But there are rules for business. Why does it not apply to government? And along that lines, I had just heard about this. No joke. I'm in my kitchen and I ask my wife, and I'm like, I'm trying to make something. And I really asked for raspberry vinaigrette. And she's like, no, I don't think we have any raspberry vinaigrette right now. And I was like, well, what the hell? We got ranch, we got Thousand Island, we got honey mustard, no raspberry vinaigrette. What is this world coming to? And I love the fact that in this country, our lives are so good that I'm actually concerned about the dressing that I have. And I've got 3 out of the 4 that I like. But I had to go get one more. I had to go to the store, Curtis. It was awful.
Did you wear a mask?
I did. And that was one of the worst parts. I had to wear a mask to protect the vulnerable that shouldn't even be in the store.
Raspberry. Yeah, you know, but we're worried about. I'm not worried about. You're not worried about. Most of our listeners aren't worried about. But, you know, all of this stuff, all the cancel culture, you know, they're canceling television shows now. You know, they're canceling people that have commented on Facebook or Twitter or any of that stuff that may have a little bit different of an opinion than the mob does now. Fired from their jobs. You know, they're losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing everything over a Facebook comment or a Twitter
I don't understand
comment.
how it's legal, because basically you're being discriminated against for your opinion, and I thought businesses couldn't do that. Like that's a free speech issue, and it's kind of sickening. The other scary one, Curtis, is now that all of the kids are having to stay home and they're doing school on the internet. Here's the new one. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say a whole generation of dumbasses. Yeah. Oh my God.
No, what's happening is in I don't even. It doesn't matter where. The camera is on the child. In the background, the kid has his airsoft BB guns on the wall. The teacher, while they're in class, called the police, Curtis, and sent the police to this child's home because there's guns on the wall. And that's something that we're going to run into too. Like social media has been just a demon spawn on society. And now we're going to have where open microphones, open cameras are going to allow the Karens, or in the case of the one we were talking about earlier, Cheryls of the world, to rat you out for stuff that's not even an issue.
Absolutely. And you know, this whole homeschool thing, and this is where I don't, you know, I have to agree with President Trump all the way on this. He wants to open the schools back up. I think it's really important to do so because, first of all, if these kids are all staying home, I mean, there's a number of issues with this. First off, the parents, most households are a 2-income household. The husband and the wife work. And so one of them is going to have to stay home, right? And homeschool this kid and make sure that this kid is doing everything, in the younger kids, no less. So that's an issue. So it's going to cause another financial hardship on the family. But they're saying, like, you know, it's a huge percentage. I want to say it's like 70%, but I'm not going to be, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Are not even logging in to even look at what their assignments are or anything. They're not even logging in. They're just, and then they're claiming, well, we don't have internet that is sufficient enough for us to log in and do the schoolwork. But the Call of Duty stuff is great. We can damn sure play some Call of Duty, but
sure,
but we can't do the schoolwork. And so, you know, these kids are missing out on, you know, possibly an entire year of education. Not that it's more like indoctrination these days, but education, we'll call it that. What is going to happen to these kids and these parents, and how many kids are going to bomb out later on because they missed all of this?
Yeah, socially illiterate. The suicide rates are up. The household is going through. I guarantee divorce is going to be up because of all of the stuff going on, where everybody's having to interact with one another 24 hours a day.
If you have to be with your spouse nonstop when you're not used to doing that, probably going to get a divorce. I don't care if you've been married for a long time. If you're there all the time with them, probably not going to get
all of a sudden things change and the kids are around all the time. People freak out, lose their mind. Drinking's way up.
Cocaine.
This is just water. This is just water, Kurt.
Yeah, I bet it is. So, all right, Brad, let's go to, why don't we do, We Ain't BullPoopin You, and let's just get into that.
We Ain't BullPoopin You. So, Dr. Joseph Fair, have you heard of this guy? He was on the Today Show. He's been on NBC, multiple things. He was the guy that they would film where he's in bed. He's a virologist. He's an epidemiologist. He was sick. He had the Ro-Ro, Curtis. You saw this guy, right?
I did see him. Really, really sick. This guy was
so sick
on his deathbed. And I mean, how he even was able to make a video like showing how sick he was amazing, because I mean, this guy could have died at any minute, Brad. Seriously.
Yeah, he claimed that it was most likely somebody coughed and he got the droplets in his eyeball.
Because
he's a virologist. He was like, that's where I had to have gotten it. Got the eyeball Ro-Ro.
We felt really bad. We felt really bad for this guy. We were like, God, in his eye, he was wearing a mask and everything through his. What a poor guy.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's the bastard that wasn't wearing the mask was the one that caused his problems. He was wearing his mask, but he didn't have eye covering. And here's the kicker, though. They tested him for antibodies, and turns out he didn't have the Ro-Ro, Curtis.
He didn't have coronavirus at all.
Probably just had the flu.
Maybe. Or it was just all staged. Who knows?
Or that could be part of it too. We don't know, but we ain't bullpooping you. He didn't have coronavirus, folks. If you saw him on TV and going through his, 2 weeks of, I'm dying, I'm not going to make it. And he even said he lost 18 pounds. But Curtis, if you've ever had a really bad flu or pneumonia, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and who knows, man? Maybe his girlfriend left him and he lost 18 pounds. That's the best crash diet anyway. He was totally like Chris Cuomo, I'm so sick. And then out looking at his new property, across the way. Yeah, these guys, they push the agenda, they push their narrative, and it's coming out. Everything. It's funny because all of these theories and all of these things that the left push on you, a lot of times, man, they're being found out to be nonsense most of the time.
Yeah, they like to do the hoax things. They like to claim something, and when it doesn't work out, like racism, they claim that they're on their way to Subway at 2 a.m. when it's minus 20 outside, and two random MAGA hat wearing racists that have seen your black show on TV know that you're a gay actor. They just happen to have a noose and some bleach on them, and they go to town.
Yeah. They're testifying against him now. You knew that, right?
Oh, yeah. After they were like, okay, as long as we're not going to be in trouble because we were part of this. Okay, we'll testify.
Brad, do you know anything about, and I should have looked at this before we started the show, but I didn't. But CNN, like Don, how do you say his last name? Lemon?
Lemon now. It was Lemon. Lemon.
Yeah, well, he's got to be cool because his show sucks. So anyway, this guy, he had Terry Crews on, and he just goes on like this nonsensical just tirade with Terry Crews. Terry Crews is talking about the kids that were shot, how terrible it is. Why is Black Lives Matter not giving a crap about these young kids that were shot? The father that was shot walking his daughter across the street, and Lemon is just going on about, well, you don't understand
that's not the focus of Black Lives Matter. And but to those of us that are out here going, yeah, but you can't ignore that and then say that I need to focus with you on this topic. And somebody on Facebook actually said, well, that's like saying that Susan G. Komen, breast cancer, they can't focus on breast cancer because there are other cancers. I'm like, actually, that's exactly what I'm saying, because Susan G. Komen, just like Black Lives Matter, wants all the focus on them. And they have actually sued other institutions trying to help in getting rid of breast cancer. They've sued them until they can't even function, so that the Susan G. Komen gets all the funding because they use a third of the funding to pay themselves. It's all about money and power.
It is. Do you remember? Did you see the clip of back when he was Don Lemon? Did you see the clip of him when he was?
Yes,
on
2013.
Yeah. Do you remember what it said exactly? Because I don't. I mean, the gist of it.
The gist of it was, we need to quit complaining about as he's saying, as a black person, we need to quit complaining about the police because these things don't happen that often. We need to fix our own selves because we're committing too many crimes, and we have single parent households, and we're championing crime, and our hip hop and our music champions criminal attitude.
Now
he's fired now for saying that.
Yeah, if he said any of that stuff now he toes the line for everything that CNN wants him to say. They're just all of them. Cuomo, Lemon, and who's the other jackass? Anderson Cooper. They're all pathetic. So, okay, Brad. So I want to get in now to because we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. This was one of the most popular things on our radio show, and so we decided we were going to bring it into the podcast. And I'm going to cut you loose with Wilder Kingdom. Hit it.
The dung beetle, from the Latin scarabaei, apodini, meaning bald-headed poop pusher. The dung beetle gathers and pushes feces around in a ball, and then, with its family of mindless larvae, will feed on it. You can watch a video of this on every news network under the title Impeachment Hearing. In a given day, a dung beetle can push 250 times its own weight in caca. In human terms, this is like speaking for 12 straight hours while trying to frame someone, even though everyone knows you're just talking about a ball of diaper gravy. In ancient Egypt, the scarab variety of the dung beetle was highly revered. Monuments to this beetle were created by the ruling government, the pharaohs. The pharaohs would tell the people, "We have taken the wealth of the Jews so that you can equally carry the big rocks to make tributes to our favorite thing, boneless sewer trout." Apparently, that's how the socialist pharaohs spoke back then. In some cases, a dung beetle will gather so much excrement that they will store the balls of dookie, but they will only store at most 2, and they keep them in what is called a Pelosi blouse. 2 large, disgusting piles of human manure. There are no females in the species, though all the males are effeminate. The male will deposit his sperm into the ball of dung, and through the powers of the Egyptian god Khepri, will birth another dung beetle right from the ball of butt mud, which explains quite a lot. Dung beetles, though covered in hard exoskeleton shells, are very fond of massages. They also love to give massages and would rub down everyone in sight, all while smelling their hair, but they don't. And do you know why, Curtis? They're not Joe Biden, Curtis. I thought that would be obvious. Dung beetles. Now, Curtis, I want you to know some of the terms that were considered but not used during this presentation. May I read those, Curtis?
Absolutely.
Stinky brown butt nuggets. And as Sean Connery would say, Short Lake Shitty. Louisiana Hot Pocket, chocolate hostages, and my personal favorite, brown velvet pickles.
Chocolate hostages.
Writing these things is pretty fun. It's pretty fun, and it's a learning event for everyone because now they know all about dung beetles.
They know all about dung beetles, and we're gonna have one every week, folks. You know what? We're gonna go because we've already taken up like 31 minutes of your time. And Brad, is there anything else that you would like to say before we sign off and get going, get on with our day?
Yeah. If your wife offers to cook you eggs and bacon at 3 a.m, it's not your wife, and you're at the Waffle House and you're drunk again.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube page, youtube.com/crankeduplive. All one word, Cranked Up Live. And you know what? Find us on social media, Cranked Up Live. We're all over the place. Like the page. And we put the girl of the day back on Cranked Up Live now. So, yeah, go and check out the girl of the day. And we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Aloha.